All right, so anyway, this is Sherman rolling with Highland Park Lapidary. We are at the Kino tent. We're actually a week, 4 days or 5 days from opening, but we're going to be open today. If you can pick up some of these machines in here, and a lot of finished goods. All the finished goods come out of our factory. We'll give you another tour of this later. But this is getting there, pretty much there, help thanks to Mr. Lapidary Dave and Steve Kopaski. Am I saying your name right? Kopaski. Yeah. All right.
You got it.
So we're going to just walk around a little bit, give you a little bit of the tour of what's here at the Kino show. The Tucson show is huge. It's the whole city. And so a lot of people, when they think about a gem show, they're like, well, what is this gem show? Well, the Tucson Gem and Mineral Show, overall, largest gem and mineral show in the world. Now, it's a little different than the Hong Kong show. Hong Kong show's all inside. Tends to be more jewelry, like the GGXs and those shows here. This particular show here at the Kino Sports Center, this is called the Kino Show. This show's really cool because it's got not only finished goods, but a lot of rough rock. Like my friends next door, there's material they have from the Congo. This is malachite. We'll walk on down here. This is malachite, Norcross, Madagascar, and Madagascar material, which we'll swing in. We'll probably go see also Enter the Earth. We would do a lot of work with them in Madagascar. These folks bring in the malachite, which is a really beautiful mineral, copper-based mineral. Down to seen some of the stuff, and they're just everybody's kind of in the middle of setting up everything, kind of getting the show going. These are my friends from Australia, Aridon, and also some other folks there. Over here, we've got Elka, and Elka's from Madagascar also. And you can see we're just set up here. Over here is the guys from the Gem Center down in El Paso. The Gem Center guys are great, and we've known them for many, many years. They run a lot of our equipment in their operation, both in Mexico and also in the States. And they got tons of really cool rock. So, one of my best people here,
I didn't do it.
Bob, he always handles getting stuff taken care of for us. So the show is really, you know, we're in the midst of setup, and you kind of look around, you'll see there's tents opening, some tents new, and you'll see a whole mixture of stuff. We go back over to Michael's place over here, you're going to see, well, actually, Z's. If you show a little bit of Z's here. So Z's is a local, he's a guy local to Tucson, and he does some pretty cool stuff. A lot of, you know, these are import pieces, obviously, he brought in here, but he also does a lot of these tables. And the big thing you'll see, she deals with really, really large scale stuff over here. If you pan over there, they move really big pieces. She's based out of Southern California and just has some really cool pieces. A lot of skull, you know, a lot of carvings. These tend to go into, you know, people want a piece that just looks badass in their house and they want to show off to their friends if they got a lot of money. Go here. So. You'll also see stuff like this, you know, on sculptures, a lot of sculpture stuff. Z does a lot of sculptures. I think he's trained as a sculptor. So it's a kind of mix at the show. You'll see all kinds of different people, materials. What I love about the show is you can find a lot of interesting rough rock. We sell a lot of rough at this show as well. Aziz and his family, Moroccan material, and some of this stuff is crazy. Like if you look at this, you know, they're really focused a lot on the fossils. Well, they'll carve them out so you can actually see the fossil specimens in there, which is really badass. I mean, check this one out here too. I mean, the detail. I mean, it's done really a nice job kind of getting in there, carving them out. This one's also just a real stunner piece right there. You just really, really interesting detail. And this would be a piece that somebody might, you know, put in their house. Maybe they would build it into a wall. So really a unique kind of one-of-a-kind piece. And there's John Richardson. He's at Richardson's Ranch up there. He'll be up on YouTube. And he's brought a whole lot of material in. He's got stuff he's bringing out of Morocco. Really beautiful material. Also, if you're done, most of you that may watch this video may have heard of Richardson's Ranch. They're up in Madras, and they've got all kinds of cool stuff. The first place I ever remember rock hunting is Richardson Ranch, which at the time was called Friday Ranch. I was 5 years old. And digging in there, digging out these thunder eggs. Really known for their thunder eggs. Really cool operation. So you can see, just take a pan so you can kind of see all the stuff they've got. So, if you want to see what the stone's going to look like when you polish it, you get it wet. Because that simulates what the polish is going to look like. And so you'll see a lot of people always squirting water. This is really cool stuff coming out of Morocco. You can kind of see the coloration in it. So that's one of the things you'll see people, oh, why do I get it wet? Well, you get it wet because you want to actually see what the material looks like. And Tucson is just a haven for finding incredibly cool material from all over the world. Kino Show in particular is really good because it has a diversity of vendors that are bringing material from all over the world, both finished goods and also rough rock as well. We're coming over to here. All right, so contour polish pieces, we do a fair amount of this in our Philippine factory. Just you take a piece and by grinding on it and polishing, you really can show what's in it. I mean, these are just pieces that somebody did, but you'll get the idea. A lot of the contour polish pieces are great statement pieces. They're wonderful being able to put in your yard or in like a, you know, like a garden area. That's where a lot of people like this stuff. Different rough rock you'll see, lots of rough rock, and also cut specimens, slabs. These are called stand-ups because they stand up on their own. So you'll see all different types of material when you go to a show. This is like, for many of you that may have been to the local show, whether you've been to like a local club show, maybe you've been to the Springfield show if you're on the East Coast, or you've been to you know, any of the other different types of shows around the country, this is like the mega show where you've got a selection of everything. Hey. So let's shoot on over here. Let's go over to Enter the Earth. So you can see they don't have the food set up. So us vendors, we starving out here until the food comes. So we're going to head over to Enter the Earth. Enter the Earth is owned by my friend Natter, and he's got a booming operation over in Madagascar. And one of the things that's great about Natter is he's really got a big commitment to being very fair in his business, paying his people well, doing things local to the community. We've been looking at collaborating on putting also a large solar array on one of his factories for being able to generate power for the local community. Because of course, in certain rural areas of Madagascar, it's poor. And so when you can bring infrastructure in, you can bring electricity, you can bring in clean water, it makes a big difference. And so part of our ethic is always to be, when we do buying, we import a lot of agate out of Mexico, we always look to pay fair wages, fair trade, ethical trade, because it's the right thing to do, and it also makes the industry grow. It's more sustainable than, raping and pillaging and, screwing things up on your way. How you doing? And you take a sweep over here, some of Natter stuff here. A lot of petrified wood rounds, other types of pieces, a lot of fossils. He's kind of queuing up. He's opening up today. These beautiful pieces, these polished quartz pieces, really, really lovely. Big statement piece here. That's a beautiful sphere. Of course, for those of you who do Highland Park, we do lots of spheres, and Natter has whole big operation sphere cutting stuff from us. Some rough stuff. Again, these are things for people's garden, make it look good. He'll be opening up here in the areas here. We're going to swing through here. There's a whole another mega tent over there. That's getting set up. So that's a lot of smaller vendors that are inside of that particular tent. Here, I get these folks here. I don't know Strong Rock out of El Paso. I should know them. I may know them. I just don't know the name. And then, of course, coming through here, we've got Zion Prospector, which will swing into his place. These carvings are really pretty interesting type of stuff as well. You still see people are set up. Let's take a swing through on some of these carvings, because these guys, I've many years, multiple years in a row, I go buy carvings from them for gifts. And they're all done out of Africa. And again, also they, I think, had really that ethic of trying to take local artisans, being able to give them the tools and the ability to do some pretty amazing stuff. And you'll look as you kind of go through some of this, the quality is really lovely, you know, and I've bought, I don't know how many pieces from them over the years. And hey, how you folks doing? I always love your stuff. I'm spending more money here.
Well, good.
So, you know, and they've really, you know, you know, getting local, you know, artists, carvers, you know, to really have them do amazing stuff and get their work visible. That's a real big service, especially in, you know, developing economies where people need to have a way to get their products to market. So, you know, if you do a sweeper, you're going to see the stuff is exotic. It's beautiful. It's well done. You know, really capturing kind of the, you know, the cultural aspects of Africa. And the, you know, the precision is very good, and the visual look of the stuff is just, you know, compelling. We found these guys a few years ago when they came in, and we're like, oh yeah, we got to buy their stuff. So, kind of get a flavor. Let's shoot on over to here. A lot of this material comes out of Utah, and just really well done. So this is all Utah material, right? Yeah. So you're like always set up before I. Is it just you? You work like 24 hours a day?
Pretty much. My boy came for 2 days.
Yeah. Well, that helps. That helps. Yeah.
I just like to come really early and something on it.
Yeah, I do. Moving here. We're pretty much set up, but you know, being able to get it done a week is a nice way. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, John's not here this year. He's over in the China factory. We got so many orders. We just have to like, dude, you can't be here. You know, go build machines. So that's what he's doing. So any order over $50 is free shipping. So it simplified it a lot. Sales have just gone crazy. Don't think about the shipping. Amazon shaped that. Don't man, right? Let's do it. I did good enough, right? Which one? Bullet. Oh yeah, the dual one. I don't bring those because I mean, in fact, I have everything in Boston to take one of the ones I have there and convert them to duals. I have a dual shaft. It's just a different shaft. And it'd be me doing the conversion because I'm built in the first place. It's shaft up and no shaft in, you're good to go. You know, but I don't have one here. I just have the single here. That one's sold already. I mean, pretty much most of my show stuff is sold even here. But you know, if you got it later, all those free shipping. Like everything's free shipping. Even my 36 is free shipping. No trading free. None of that. You talk to a guy, he's 74 years old. He's like, well, I don't know when I'm going to do it. I'm like, I'm really. I said, how do you eloquently say, look, how many years you got? You got 2 tons of rock around your house. You've been wanting to saw for 25 years. When is the right time? Like, because people get this notion that they've got infinite time.
Yeah.
You don't have infinite time. And you got a lot of rock to cut, so get going on it.
Well, it seems like everything now is in warp speed too. Everything's just, I mean, I remember when we were kids, it seemed like 12 hours was forever.
But I think it's getting old too.
Now
like,
12 hours is like.
Well, my father said this. He says, you know, when I was young, you know, like as I get older, you know, days go by like hours. Hours go by like, I mean, weeks go back like hours. It like compresses. That is very, very cool. You picking that up good? Yeah. I mean, James has some of the best stuff out there.
That one with the gold.
So, yeah. What booth are you in here?
A2.
A2. So for those of you that are going to come to the show, check out some of the stuff James has got. He's got some amazing stuff. Okay, let's shoot on up to the front. We'll see you guys later.
See you later.
MP Products getting set up. They just got their stuff in. And then this is that big tent that I talked about earlier. The big tent, I don't know how many vendors it has in it. It's got a lot of vendors. You know, all kinds of things from jewelry, some really nice jewelry stuff in there. Oftentimes we'll buy gifts in here. If you can just get to the door, you can kind of show them. It's big. It's like this huge cavern. And it's a mix, you know, from like cheap beads to high-end, you know, set jewelry. It's a whole mix of stuff in there. The biggest player in the show for this show is Village Originals. Village Originals has a massive, massive footprint. They're based out of Florida, and a lot of the shops are kind of a go-to for people buying pieces. So you can just kind of take a little pan through here. We'll want to do another look in further once they're set up, because this is really cool for people to see. And it's a mix. Some of it's higher grade, some of it's lower grade. It's really geared to fit different markets. Some people say, like, you know, the real high-end lapidary guy says, oh, real quartz, they wouldn't necessarily like it. But many people say, hey, Marvin, I love this. This is great for my house. So one of the things you'll find at the show is there's really an attention to be able to fit the various price points and interests. So you can get really high-end, like we have some material that's phenomenal, with Laguna, which we'll be videoing later, real high-end, high price per pound, but really exclusive, and then you'll find stuff that's very inexpensive. It's a whole mix. All right, let's go on over this way. This is a booth going up. And they don't like us so much. That would be Diamond Pacific's booth.